I'm joined now by the Labour MP Stella Creasy and by the editor of City AM, Alistair Heath. Alistair Heath, first of all, is the culture that gave us the excess of the bankers the same culture that gives us the looters on the streets?
No, I think they're two different things. Of course, the rot at the top of our society needs to be fought. It's wrong and it's not acceptable. But I think they're two very different phenomena. I don't think the first caused or can possibly justify the second. And I think, in fact, conflating them makes our job harder. It means we'll find it harder to actually understand why we had all this chaos on the streets last week. It'll make it harder to try and fight it.
But it's perfectly reasonable to assume that these looters who are stealing big televisions think, well, you know, if somebody can fiddle 8,000 other expenses, you know, if someone can take a bonus, even though RBS is still losing money, investment banking side can take bonuses, then why can't we have a piece of the action?
You see, I don't think they were thinking that. I think
Is that not rather patronising?
No, not at all. I think, in fact, it's the opposite. I think that's too parochial an attitude. It's a very middle-class, Westminster-class, media-centric attitude. If you're 14-year-old and you're smashing a shop to rob a TV, you're not thinking about these things.
Stella Creasy, is that your analysis?
Look, I don't think anybody was so weak-minded that the expenses crisis or the bankers themselves were in their minds when they were thinking about stealing those TVs. But I do think it's about the signals that we send about what happens when people behave in ways that we don't agree with as a society, and the importance of being very clear that there are sanctions for bad behaviour. And in that sense, there is a commonality in saying, actually, if we have a culture in which people behave in ways that are morally reprehensible and we don't act to put it back in sanctions that say this is bad, there is a problem.
But leaving the legality aside, is it morally wrong to be avaricious? Whether or not it's legal. Is it morally wrong to be avaricious if it's legal?
Well, moral questions are about the conditions of the society that we create. How did we get here? How did we get to a situation where we had bankers acting in ways, plundering people's savings in the ways that they're acting, which are so bad for our economy? How did we get here to have a society where when the looters came to my area of Walthamstow, other people followed them and other people thought it was okay to take trainers, to go to Foot Locker, to go to JD Sports and trash these places? That's what moral questions are about. It's about all of us understanding the consequences of people's behaviour and coming together to say, actually, these aren't the kind of values that we want to see in our society, so we need to speak up for the kind of values we do want to see.
So, Alistair, it is about values, and those values go across every